Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online Series 7 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. In the last episode, we featured a really fun team built by Santi, the winner of the first Players' Cup, and it features Perish Song Azumarill with Aqua Jet with Weakness Policy Coalossal. So, would highly recommend yesterday's episode if you haven't seen it. We got some really intense games in, and looking forward to playing a couple more with it today. Once again, huge thank you to Santi for the team. His Twitter is linked in the description below, as well as a paste and a rental code for it, so feel free to try out the team yourself. Like I mentioned, Santi was able to climb to number 1 on the ladder with this team yesterday, so congratulations to him. And let's get started with today's episode. Thanks so much as always for watching. If you enjoyed, please show your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. Question of the day, I want to know if you could get one Pokemon sequel, what would it be and why? Let me know in the comments below. I think for me, I have a lot of fond memories with like Battle Revolution, Coliseum, and XD, so a spin-off game like one of those would be really sick. Okay, so first game of the day, they have some pretty scary stuff here. Landorus Incarnate, which is actually not very good, given that we have Coalossal. I wonder if I want to Dynamax Glastrier here and just go with the Trick Room route instead. I can't really lead Incineroar here. Actually, Incineroar is not very helpful at all, because I can't Intimidate like the two main physical attackers in Thundurus and Metagross. I mean, I can Intimidate Thundurus, but it'll give it a Defiant boost. But if I lead Rillaboom, I can just get Max Airstream by Thundurus. What is my opponent leading here? Whimsicott plus Landorus if you want to hard beat Coalossal. So if I'm expecting Whimsicott plus Landorus, I could just go Rillaboom, Gothitelle, trap them in, bring in Glastrier. I'm leaning towards Glastrier here. Like, Glastrier one-shots so many of my opponent's biggest threats. They have triple Ice Week. Kind of reminds me of VGC 2011 with Landorus, Thundurus, and Whimsicott. But then the question is who I want as the last one. Because, like, Coalossal could actually be okay. I don't think it's Incineroar, so it's between Azumarill and Coalossal. The electric types make me a little bit more hesitant to bring Azumarill as well. I'm actually going to bring Coalossal this time around. Mainly because I think there is a world in which we could also max Coalossal under Trick Room. But this is kind of a tricky matchup. And the Landorus Eye is, I think, really, really threatening here. So, let's see how this plays out. Cool team for my opponent's end. I think... the reality is that I don't really feel safe with the Azumarill Coalossal as a lead here because of the Landorus. And it is Whimsicott Landorus. Okay, so that's what we were expecting. So this is pretty good, I would say, for the most part. Because I think I just go fake out Whimsicott Trick Room turn 1, bring in Azumarill, and then go from... Sorry, Glastrier, and then go from there. And then Glastrier hopefully can just snowball the game pretty quickly. But it's always tricky, like, deciding whether or not I want Azumarill or Coalossal in the back. Because yesterday, like I mentioned... I think in game 2 I would have been better off bringing Azumarill. I'm just gonna fake out Landorus and Trick Room. It's safe. I might sacrifice Rillaboom as a result, which is scary if they just go for Sludge Bomb, which I feel like is pretty likely. But trading Rillaboom for a free Trick Room and getting Game Glastrier, I think is totally worth it for us here. So let's see. Yep, it's just Sludge Bomb coming out. This should one-shot us, I think. That is the strength of Landorus. I also could have gone, like, fake out Psychic onto Landorus and then glide the next turn. That could have been pretty interesting. But I feel like it's just so good to get Trick Room up this early on that I don't want to risk anything, right? Whimsicott's not really that much of a threat. I suppose it could have Charm, which would be kind of scary. And this is actually interesting, because I could still choose to Dynamax the Coalossal, actually. Huh. That's actually really interesting. Like, I've tried my opponent in right now. What I'm thinking of going for is actually just Ice Skull Crash into Landorus and switch Gothitelle out into Coalossal. I also don't want to get taunted or encored here onto the Gothitelle, and Gothitelle's not really doing that much for us other than trapping them in right now. And by bringing in Coalossal, now I have 2 potential max options this next turn, which I think is really interesting. Landorus probably protects here, but that's okay, I think. And they did go for Encore. Wow, okay. Nice. I always, like, play really cautiously around Encore because, like, it's just something you can insta-lose to if you're going with a hard Trick Room team. So I wanted to respect that option. I feel like a lot of players aren't running Encore on Whimsicott, but as a result, for that reason, Encore is also very, very strong. And so, by making that play last turn, what's really nice is now we actually don't burn a turn of our Dynamax, right? If I Dynamax with Glastrier last turn, it would have literally accomplished nothing other than setting up the Hail. And they're going to bring out Incineroar. Okay, this puts us, I think, in a really commanding position, because I do think I Dynamax the Coal now. I Dynamax Coalossal, I go for the Volcalith. Whimsicott's really useless for my opponent's end right now, and I still have 3 turns of Trick Room to work with, too, which is nice. I think the one thing we don't want to do here is protect with Glastrier, so... I think just Ice Skull Crash into Whimsicott, max, and just Volcalith here is fine. I'm really surprised they actually brought out Incineroar as opposed to, like, their main Dynamax option. I guess, actually, it could be Max Incin. I didn't even think about that. What are the odds they Max Incin? Even if they Max Incin, I'm not that scared because you don't do anything into Coalossal. So Coalossal ended up being a good bring for us here. So glad I could have learned something from Game 2 yesterday where I was a little hesitant. Because the thing is, if you bring Azumarill, you're really lacking in offense outside of Glastrier, right? For example, if it's Incin, Gothitelle, plus Azumarill, none of those really do any damage, and so you're basically putting all your eggs in the Glastrier basket, which is fine. Like, you pick up 2 KOs and click Perish Song. That's kind of what we did in one of those matches yesterday. But, like, execution can be a little bit more difficult. By bringing Coalossal now, we have 2 really, really big offensive threats. They're not going to go for a Protect either, or a Fake Out, so this should just be a KO onto the Whimsicott, get another boost up here. I don't think Flare Blitz one-shots us either. If it doesn't, I think this game is definitely over. But either way, Coalossal, like, being able to just, get the Vocaloid off here is really nice. I don't think it one-shots, does it? Never mind. Coalossal is a beast. Nice. So the main thing here to watch out for really was that Encore. That's why I wanted to switch into Colder as well. Because if Whimsicott successfully gets that Encore off, we're basically playing without Trick Room, right? And we lost the Pokemon on turn 1 for nothing. Yeah, Metagross is the last one. Nice. Okay, so this should be game over at this point. Coalossal was actually a huge bring for us here in the end, so I'm glad I had it. Let me just make sure. How many turns of Trick Room are left? 2. We're at +1 attack. I think I just go for High Horsepower and Max Flare. I mean, the double up here will pick up the Knockout. The only question is whether or not Metagross goes for a regular Protect to eat up a Weakness Policy boost, and then you try to go for a double Protect the subsequent turn. I think that's probably my opponent's play right now. If they're Assault Vest, I think there's really not much they can do, because I just basically have a ton of attacks to throw in their way right now. But I could miss High Horsepower, so High Horsepower miss could actually be huge. Either way, they commit the Dynamax, which means that they're not going to go for the Protect play of just trying to soak up some damage and activate a potential Policy. But they might not even be Policy here. Thinking about their team, is Policy likely? They didn't have anything to activate it, really, but okay, they just go for Max Guard. Okay, well, now the question is, can you survive a double up this next turn? Because if so, this actually becomes really interesting. My opponent could still win this. I don't think it would survive a double up. Plus, we have a little bit of... Well, I guess the Grassy Terrain heals back a little bit of the Vocaloid damage. But still, I think we do just go for a High Horsepower and Max Flare. Because the reality is that even if they... Okay, if they get the double, this gets scary. Because then they can one-shot either of my Pokemon the subsequent turn. So then what I probably want to do is like protect Glastrier, switch Coalossal out into Gothitelle, and fake out High Horsepower. Or just get another Trick Room up. It's also scary here, because we know they're not a Assault Vest, so I do think Policy is the item. If Metagross can survive this double up, no, I don't think it will. Especially with Rocks damage, I think we're good, yeah. That's why getting the Beast, not the Beast Boost, the Glastrier's ability, the Chilling Neigh off was huge. Fortunately, we don't miss, which was big. I think if we miss, this actually is pretty scary, but they weren't Policy in the end anyway. So, yeah, I think my opponent needed to go for a double Protect there. I guess they were hoping for a miss. That also makes sense. But if you get the... So if you try to go for a double Protect, if you get it outright, that's obviously huge, because then I don't do any damage. But even if you don't get it, like, I could still miss High Horsepower anyway, right? So you're banking off a miss anyway, so I think it's better to just go for the double there. Or actually, not necessarily. Because the thing about going for the double, if you don't get it, is you pretty much just lose. But with that play, my opponent says, okay, if I do miss the High Horsepower, then the Metagross retaliates back with an attack. Which actually makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, maybe, I think their play was fine there, but we just built a really early lead, and the main thing here was that we didn't fall into the trap of Encore. So, I really like Encore Whimsicott. It's really tough to fit Encore onto the moveset, because you typically want Moonblast, Tailwind at the minimum, and then any combination of attacks like Taunt, Protect, Charm, Fake Tears, all of these are really viable options. So, yeah, we didn't fall into the trap of Encore, which was good, but Gothitelle wasn't really doing anything in that position anyway, so I was like, why not switch out? This reminds me a lot of Ryota's Regidrago team. Is that just the team? I don't remember if there was a Grimmsnarl on it. The team I'm referring to, we played with this team in like the very beginning of Series 7. It was a team built by 2017 World Champion Ryota Otsuba. And it had, AV, Thundurus, Policy, Metagross, Regidrago. I just don't remember if Grimmsnarl was on that team. I don't think it was, but not 100% sure on that. Okay, Azumarill Coalossal might just work for us here. It's just that, like, Glastrier is also pretty good here against certain threats. But I guess it's very bad against other threats. I think regular Glastrier is actually a pretty strong bring here. I know Santi, the creator of the team, actually mentioned he had Lumberry here specifically to help out against Sun, so I think Glastrier could still be a solid bring. Rillaboom feels bad here, and my opponent has 5 resists to it, so that's probably not it. Incin is pretty valuable here, actually, I think, just for fake outs as well as some boosted flare blitzes should my opponent bring out the Torkoal. Because I don't know how easily, like, I'd be able to get Trick Room up, plus I don't even know if I need to get Trick Room up in this game. But I think Azumarill Cole is a pretty solid lead for this one. So, let's see. Ideally, we get Cole going immediately. What's the biggest threat to Coalossal here? Metagross and Venusaur are both scary because they do have Max Quake potentially. Grimmsnarl and Venusaur, okay. Fake Tears here is slightly scary as well. As well as, oh, they could actually trick Full Incense. That's actually a really big issue here. I think, if anything, this is actually the perfect time to go for a Sing. Because I think I can just switch Coalossal out into Glastrier here turn 1 to see if Grimmsnarl tries to go for a trick. And Venusaur here, I think either... I mean, you have a bunch of options. You could Sleep Powder into Glastrier or Max Quake into that slot. You could Max Ooze or Max Overgrowth into Azumarill. If they haven't seen this team, then I think they might get baited into going for like a Grass-type attack into Azumarill. So Sing is really high risk, really high reward. Like, I think it's actually one of the best definitions of, like, high risk, high reward in the game. Because it's, like, the accuracy is so bad, but if you hit it, it's just so monumental. And they're going to max here as well, it looks like. So if we hit this and they didn't go for Fake Out onto Azumarill, I think we kind of just win on turn 1. That's why I went for it, because I don't think Azumarill is actually in huge risk of getting knocked out. Even if we miss, it's honestly not the worst case scenario here. Like, I did want to scout out for what my opponent goes for turn 1. Now, Venusaur could very likely go for a Max Ooze as well. I think that's definitely a possibility. Honestly, Azumarill. I don't know if that one-shots with Life Orb. Maybe you do pick up the KO. Okay, they just opt for Fake Out, though. And Quake? Ooh, Fake Out Ooze. Wow, nice play. They read really hard into that then. Okay, props to them. That was a really good play on their end. Didn't get baited. Like, if I just stayed in with Cole and went for, like, Volcalid turn 1, this would have been fine, right? They are Life Orb Venu as well, okay. But, like, the reality is I could just Dynamax Glastrier here, right? And Hailstorm. That's honestly the play I'm leaning towards here. I could see Grimmsnarl switching out. Reflect may go up here as well. Protect here is kind of obvious, so... I could also see Grimmsnarl switching out into Torkoal and then Venusaur just protecting. But I think you want to get as much out of Venusaur as possible right now. I'm going to Hailstorm and Sing that slot. Okay, they stay in. Oh, unless you're eject butting Grimmsnarl. Oh, that would be bad. That would be very bad, actually. Okay. If they trick Full Incense here, that's fine. I don't really care about getting, like, Full Incensed, but... That was a really good play by my opponent turn 1. I could have just double protected, I guess, but they didn't get baited into... Okay, it's just Fake Tears. Oh, does Overgrow just KO now? That'd be very bad. Or sorry, Vine Lash. Okay, whew. We hang on, but to be honest, like, I think I might faint. Well, actually, it's really close. We end up hitting Sing, but it actually doesn't end up being that critical here, because I'm just going to KO it, I think, anyway, right? Actually, I don't know if Hailstorm one-shots here. Let's find out. The main problem is that my opponent did get the, that one-shot. Yeah, it did. Okay. I don't mind going for that play, though, because it does cover my options a little bit better. So we get rid of the Dynamax, but that's a nice fake here. It's like, my opponent didn't get baited in these first 2 turns, and I think they did a really good job executing there. If I got this thing off on a Grimmsnarl, then it'd effectively be a 2v1, so, yeah, I regret not going for it onto that slot, but... And I guess in retrospect, I don't know, is that better? Well, if Glastrier just got one shot there, by going for Sing onto Venusaur, at least we're still in the game. Whereas we would have just instantly lost there if Glastrier just went down. Okay, so we feint, but the thing is, I don't... What does the Grimmsnarl say? Do you actually have Trick on it? Because, like, now I can just bring in Coalossal and Self Aqua Jet and activate the policy. Which feels okay. Yeah, great play by my opponent turn 1. I don't really regret the play that I went for, but then the question is basically, did I have a safer play? And I suppose the answer would have been yes by double protecting. It was a really high-risk play from my opponent's end, though. I would say, well, not really high risk, I guess, because you probably survive a Max Flare. So my opponent was like, okay, even if you max flare my Venusaur, then you set up the Sun, I can just max Quake, Fake Tears max Quake you the next turn. So that was probably their line of thinking there, which makes a lot of sense. Okay, they bring out Torkoal, which is fine by me. That's actually great for us. I just, like, Grimmsnarl without Trick is so rare these days. I just, like, can't see it not having Trick, honestly. That's the thing. And if they don't have Trick, I mean, I can still activate the Steam Engine. That's kind of nice. We've seen Faked Out Fake Tears. Screen plus Trick is what I'm expecting, but maybe it's just dual screens. I could also Protect Coalossal here, switch into Incineroar, because that allows me to fake out the next turn. But Incin just takes a lot of damage on the switch with Chip. I guess if you have Earth Power on Torkoal here, though, that's a problem, right? Because what I want to go for here is just Aqua Jet and Earth Power. Yeah, especially because Earth Power is so rare on Cole. Let's see if they have Trick. Oh, they Protect. Okay. That's fine. Okay. We get the Steam Engine Policy boost, so that's actually huge regardless of what the Grimmsnarl goes for now. What is it going for? Is it slower than the Azumarill? I wouldn't think so, right? So it's just a Spare Break, maybe? Oh, it does have Trick. Okay. It's full Incense, though. Okay, actually, if you have Earth Power on Torkoal now, I lose. Oh, wait, no. I get the, Incin for free, though, so I can fake out it. Okay. I don't know. What would have been better there? I totally forgot. Yeah, Trick will always go last because of full Incense. So actually, what I could have done there was just self Aqua Jet and Heat Wave. And if Heat Wave just KOs Grimmsnarl in Sun, we just insta-win there. But then the problem is that Torkoal very likely could go for an Earth Power there, so I wanted to respect that option. That being said, I could fake out Earth Power Torkoal here for free this turn. But maybe I should have just made the read last turn. Torkoal could also switch out here because this play is super obvious. Yeah, actually, I feel like a switch is super likely, so I probably should have gone Heat Wave there instead. We'll see who it goes. Because if you go into Thundurus, it's like, ugh. Yeah, I totally forgot that full Incense will make the Grimmsnarl's Trick lower priority. Oh, it doesn't make a difference, though, right? Because you still get the Trick off against Grimmsnarl. It's just that maybe I KO the Grimmsnarl instead. And honestly, I actually don't mind Grimmsnarl being out on the field right now, because it's kind of a tough position for my opponent. But the big question is, what Torkoal set are you here? If you're at Body Press, it's a little bit more manageable. But if you have Earth Power, like that, I think I have to fake out Earth Power here. Okay, they stay in, which is huge. That's actually really big, because it means it should be a knocked out Torkoal. Oh, you do get Spirit Break onto Cole, though, so... Wait. They Spirit Breaked Incin. I feel like you should target Coalossal here. I don't know if I KO with Earth Power. I guess that's the other part of the problem right now. Okay, we do pick up the knockout. So it's a 2v2. Surprised to not see them target Coalossal there. But the reality is that they have a lot of scary damage in the back, right? Like, Regidrago, Metagross, Thundurus. All of those are pretty big problems for us. Now, Metagross would actually probably be the best case scenario because we have the Shukaberry on Incin. Ooh, and they bring out Metagross. Okay, that's what I want to see. Oh, do you protect Metagross here? Could also be Self-Sucker Punch Weakness Policy. Sun is up, so I want to just Flare Blitz here. The question is, do I protect Coalossal? Because Metagross may protect this turn to bait out the Coalossal Protect. How many turns of Sun are left? I still have Vine Lash damage. The problem is I'll take way too much recoil damage. So I'm going to protect here on Coalossal. It is fairly obvious, though. So if they protect Metagross while I protect Cole, I think we probably lose this game. It is probably Policy Metagross. I think... Ah, they went for it. Okay, good play. Oh, actually, I mean, it's still not over because I could go for a double protect next turn. But if I just went Flare Blitz Heat Wave here into Grimmsnarl, we win. I don't know. It was a fairly likely protect, but I wasn't 100% confident on it. Yeah, good play. My opponent outplayed me here. Like, they made some really nice reads. It actually depends, though, on your Metagross item. Sun is still up. No, it's just, I take too much. Like, if I had Bulky Berry here for recovery, I actually would still feel pretty good, but I don't. So I think I'm just going to blitz into Metagross and go for the double here on Coalossal. I mean, the problem is, if I read into Metagross protecting, or don't read into that, and just go for a Heat Wave, and Metagross just Stomping Tantrum KOs Coalossal. Ooh, we actually get the double. That's huge. That's huge. Oh, we outspeed Metagross anyway. Okay, that was kind of anticlimactic. Then we were fine anyway, I think. Although this double actually ends up being useless, it would have been better if I just went for like a Heat Wave here. Okay, well now it's a 1v1. But you shouldn't do any damage into me with Grimmsnarl. This was a really close one. I'm kind of surprised to see Metagross be as slow as it is. I thought it would definitely outspeed Incineroar here. Okay, one more turn of Sun. We still have the full Incense. I'm actually scared about missing Heat Wave, so I'm considering going for Earth Power instead. Yeah, because 2 Spirit Breaks really shouldn't do that much damage into us anyway, and this is still a +1 Earth Power. It's just tempting because the Sun is up. Okay, let's see how much this does, actually. Maybe it would have been better to just Heat Wave. 71 down to 56. So that did 15. So you're going to need 4 more to KO. So I think we should be fine. This is still a +1 Earth Power, and then next turn I can just go for neutral Heat Wave. Maybe it would have just been better to Heat Wave there, because I just need to hit it instantly and we win. Now it's scary, because I guess there's crits in play as well. Yeah, I was hoping to do a little bit more there. I should have just Heat Waved. I thought that would at least bring it under 50%. I was worried about missing, but in that scenario, with the Sun being up as well, it's better to just go for it, I think. Especially because now I'm clicking Heat Wave anyway, right? So what was the point of that? Might as well have just gone for it while I had a stronger option available. But, okay, that one hits, which is big. I think now we can just Earth Power. Even if you crit Spirit Break here, we should win. Well, I don't know if Earth Power will KO after this, but 41 down to 26. Yeah, so 15 again. It's doing pretty consistent damage. I'm pretty sure 2 Earth Power should finish off the Grimmsnarl. Ah, that one just KOs anyway. Okay. So the double protect ended up being useless. It actually didn't make a difference because we outsped Metagross anyway. So, I'm just double checking. Like, I really didn't think we'd outspeed the Metagross. Checking how much speed investment this team has on the Incin. Oh, we can check how much they have as well. Oh, it's because, okay, there's 92. Yeah, 92. Leaf Storm, Sludge Bomb, Earth Power. Yeah, they played really well in the opening game here, honestly. Okay, they did not have Earth Power, but it's probably going to go for a Body Press. Scarf Drago, Full Incense, Fake Out, Fake Tears, Trick, Spirit Break. Glacier hanging on was really clutch for us in this game. What was the Pokemon I wanted to check? The Metagross here. So I had 90 speed. And how much speed? I don't remember the Instant speed stat exactly. But this looks like Metagross didn't really have that much investment. Either way, like, yeah, because if Metagross outspeeds us there, they most likely win that end game. Oh, they have literally no speed investment. And I think Santi has 92 speed EVs on his Incineroar, probably specifically to outspeed Metagross. Let's see. 92 allows you to outspeed Metagross by 2 points. So you can see how the speed investment in Incin is actually huge there. So it punished my opponent for not having any speed investment on the Metagross. So that was huge, because... And I'm guessing that's exactly what the Incineroar is designed here for, right? You outspeed base 70 speed Pokemon with no speed investment, aka Metagross. So Life Orb Venusaur, yeah, this was very similar to that Regidrago team that Ryota had. I just think the Grimmsnarl is new on it, but everything else looks the same, especially because it was an AV Thundurus with Brutal Swing as well. So that was a really crazy game. But I thought my opponent navigated the first 2 turns really well, because like the first 2 turns could have gone so much worse for them. If 1, they didn't click Fake Out into Azumarill and we hit a Sing, for example, and 2, they went for like G-Max, the grass instead of the Max Ooze. But they didn't get baited into that, and I think they played the first 2 turns perfectly. Our Glastrier was just clutch and was able to hang on. Okay, this next game. Azumarill Coal is not exactly amazing because they have Clef, which means you can redirect that Aqua Jet away. So maybe I play towards Glastrier then? Okay, let's say I lead Azumarill Coalossal, actually. What's the worst case? The worst case actually is very bad. It's Clef plus Lapras. That mode does not look fun to go up against at all, actually. How do I beat that? Clef Lapras looks so good here, actually. Honestly, I kind of want to still bring Azumarill Coalossal, and you're probably like, why would you want to do that? But what I can do is basically beta max Geyser into Coalossal. But then if they just go for G-Max Resonance, my plan was to switch Coal into Rillaboom. But if they just Resonance, that's really bad for us. Maybe it's maxing Rillaboom. I like Glastrier just does not feel good here. This matchup looks shaky. I think Lapras is really strong against us here. So that's my main hesitance. Azumarill, Coal, Rillaboom, Glastrier? Incineroar is not really that good for us here. The main value of it would be Intimidating Stack Attack. I don't think Gothitelle does much here either, especially into... Oh, actually, no. Gothitelle has some value, and that's trapping in my opponent, but I think if they lead Clef Lapras, which I think is by far their best lead, the Gothitelle is kind of a sitting duck. But I guess it could punish, like, poor lead. Actually, there aren't that many leads that even punish me that hard. They go Lapras Incin, which is also good. Like, Gothitelle wouldn't have punished this, right? I guess I'll take this, though. If you're my opponent, what do you do here? The most obvious play is to what? Just fake out the Azumarill and max Geyser into Coal? But maybe you go for Resonance onto Coal to cover for a switch out option, right? I'm down to Sing Lapras turn 1, because I think that's pretty low risk. Honestly, I think I'm going to go for a Sing and just switch out into Glastrier here, because basically how I see us winning this game now is stalling out my opponent's Dynamax in this early game. Stall out Lapras' max and then self Aqua Jet is what I want. And if we hit a Sing at any point and we can either disable Clefable's Follow Me or just disable Lapras, it's absolutely huge for us. However, my opponent could max Lightning here onto Azumarill, expecting Coalossal to protect. So, I think Lapras is actually a really, really big threat to us. I'm at least, like, happy, I guess, like Clefairy is now. I don't know. I also could have protected Azumarill and just max guarded turn 1. That may have just been the best play, actually, because then the second turn I can just Aqua Jet Volcalith, right? But then the question is, I don't know if Volcalith one-shots Lapras, but I think that's still probably a better course of action than what I did here, so... Yeah, I like double protecting here. I like Protect Max Guard. I think that would have been a better play. They did end up going for Resonance, okay. Yeah, that's what I was expecting, onto the Azumarill slot. So that's actually a really smart play on their end, because basically, even if I had protected Azumarill there and Coalossal, you still get the screens up, which is really, really nice for them, right? But it depends on if you have Max Lightning here on Lapras and whether or not you go for it. I could also just click Parasol immediately. It's probably better to just double protect this turn, though. I mean, Incin probably switches out. You could also Parting Shot or Flare Blitz here, but like I said, the goal is to stall out my opponent's Dynamax. They stay in with both Pokemon, which is honestly promising here. So at least we'll be able to stall out their Dynamax, I think, with relative ease. The question is, do I have enough damage afterwards? Okay, they just Blitz... Yeah. Could switch Coal into that slot, but they might Geyser there too. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Okay, honestly, I think we use Glastrier as bait right now. Because, like, I don't think my opponent's going to expect Sing here. So, like... I guess the question is whether or not I should conserve Azumarill, right? Because I could go into Rillaboom here. It's probably better to conserve Azumarill, because Coalossal is my main win condition here, so let's not get too greedy. I don't need Glastrier in this game if I've stalled out my opponent's Dynamax and I get Coal in safely. I can even max Rillaboom this next turn. That is a possibility, although I don't think it's the best option. But, like, Rillaboom coming in here, getting up the terrain is good for us. I just, like, want to cover for max Lightning on the Lapras, because, like, that would be a waste of a Sing. Okay, they're going to Parting Shot into Glastrier, that's fine. Clef should come in now, I think, if you're my opponent. Actually, Clef is a big problem. I think the upside is that we probably stall out our opponent's Dynamax, but the downside is I still, like, even regular Lapras is still really good against all of our Pokemon, especially if you actually have Thunder on it. Maybe I should have just gone for Sing in this game. But the thing is, if Azumarill goes down there and you max... Like, if my opponent max Lightnings it and Azumarill goes down, it's actually really bad for us. Ooh, they brought a Stack Attack. That's interesting. Okay. Grassy Seed. Wow. Alright, it's really not going to take any damage from this high horsepower then. It is just a Geyser from my opponent's end. Okay. Into Glastrier. Does that one-shot us? It does. I don't know. Maybe we should have gone for a Sing. That was a crit, which actually may have mattered, but it's fine. Not going to really complain about that. Okay. He has Coal in the back. Azumarill doesn't... If I bring out Azumarill, what can I do? Rillaboom puts on pressure against... No, I think I have to bring out Coalossal right now. Is Stack Attack super scary? Not really. Actually, it's not scary at all because we have Earth Power on Coalossal. That's actually huge for us, right? So honestly, I think the play I go for this turn is just fake out Vocalith into Lapras. It's a pretty obvious play, and Lapras probably protects. But the reality is that I do enough damage where Grassy Glide should KO your Lapras the subsequent turn. And Stack Attack is not really that much of a problem to me right now. And I still have a Azumarill on the back, right? So if I switch Rillaboom out, like the main thing is that Lapras is by far the biggest threat to Cole, so I just need to check that out right now. Having Max Quake here is actually a really big deal because it means we can just one-shot Stack Attack, I think. So even if Lapras protects here, it's fine because I get guaranteed damage with the Vocalith, a little bit of chip, and then the residual effect as well, right? And then hopefully after that, I guess the only question is whether or not Glide can one-shot the Lapras, but after the chip damage, I would think so. I'll have to play it by ear. If not, then what I'll probably want to do is max guard Coalossal in the second turn, which really doesn't feel good, but might be our best. Oh, actually, we should just outspeed Lapras with Rillaboom, right? And they don't protect, which is even better. Okay, nice. Okay. Lapras is confirmed to outspeed the Coalossal here. No surprises there. We're going to get the Vocalith off. Curious on the item on this Lapras. I'm expecting Clay, but I guess it could be Policy as well. It doesn't look like it. And they are going to Trick Room. Okay. I actually think that's totally fine, because now is where we get our opponent with this Max Quake. I have a really safe Grassy Glide into Lapras, although I think it's likely that switches out into Incineroar, but I just need to cover for the option of it targeting Coalossal. Because Stack Attack is not really that much of a threat to me right now. We have Max Quake into Stack Attack. So, I like that. The game plan here should be to just pick up 2 knockouts and then hopefully click Perish Song. Instance damage is really lacking against Azumarill in the late game. Stack Attack is not exactly very good against it either. Yeah, they are going to switch out. That's fine. I think you go into Instant here. Yeah. So I'm going to switch Rillaboom out into Azumarill next turn. And then probably just... Well, I actually think Stack Attack maybe survives Max Quake with the screens being up, so let's see. But the reason why it's still... Ooh, they actually protect. Okay. That's fine by me, I think, because I can just Max Quake that slot again next turn. So I'm just going to switch Rillaboom out the subsequent turn. And the good thing is that, like, I have a little bit of Vocalith chip, right? So it's like not... I'm still getting something out of each of these turns. Okay, would that enough? That would have been enough for a one-shot, okay. Wow, I'm actually impressed the Stack Attack went for Protect there. I wonder if they knew about Max Quake or they just wanted to play it safer and cover for that option. It's a really good play from my opponent's end, because if they get greedy and attack with Stack Attack there and I one-shot you, this game becomes really difficult for my opponent. Because you don't really have a free switch in into what I have either. But to be honest, I still like our position a fair amount. So I'm just going to switch the Rillaboom out into Azumarill here. Yeah. I think I just go for another Max Quake on a Stack Attack. I just want to double check who my opponent could switch into. There is a slight possibility of Moltres being my opponent's last one. So this begs the question whether or not I should actually just try to KO Incineroar instead. Because I could see my opponent switching out the Stack Attack, but... You know what, I think it's fine to Max Quake. Would they really... There's no way you bring Moltres into this matchup, actually. Right? Like, I have Glastrier and Coalossal. Yeah, that would be, like, the worst Pokemon to bring here, so, okay. Doesn't look like they're switching out, which is good. Probably Fake Out. Oh, nope, they just Body Press. That's also fine. Yeah, Azumarill takes that with no problem. I guess what's scary now is, like, how easily will I actually be able to get the Perish Song endgame off here. I don't know if it'll be that simple. But we should knock out the Stack Attacker here, which is good. Yeah, we're at +2 Spadef, which actually might be valuable as well, but I didn't change the weather, so, like, Lapras Hydro Pump should still KO us. We still have a couple turns of Vocalith, which is very good as well. I'm guessing Instinct goes for a Parting Shot here. Now, what I could also do to win this endgame... One, obviously, I have the Perish Song stuff. Ooh, they actually go for Snarl, and they dodge... Sorry, Coalossal dodges that, which is huge. I don't know how much of a difference it really would have made in the long run, but obviously we'll take that for now. Rain's also gone, plus I have +2 Special Defense. I really can't help but wonder whether or not I can actually survive a Water-type attack from the Lapras. Okay, so our goal here should... We just want to pick up one more KO, because as soon as we get the last knockout, Azumarill just clicks Perish Song and wins the game. Obviously, Rillaboom can just knock out Lapras from the range that it's at right now, so that's also good. And my opponent's last Pokemon's going to be Rillaboom. Okay, this is where Sapsipper Azumarill comes up huge for us. Sapsipper is very good for us right now. 2 turns of Trick Room left. I'm at +2 speed def, -1 attack. Yeah, that honestly was probably a pretty big miss. They might fake out here, but that's fine. I think this is actually the time to go for a Sing, because Rillaboom is my opponent's only offense, really, at this point. So if we've shut that down, it's really tough for them to do much. I don't really need to go for... Like, I can self-Aqua Jet next turn, too. Oh, you know what may have been the play? Okay, they just fake out Azumarill, that's fine. Yeah, I can just self-Aqua Jet this next turn. I suppose they can just glide into my Coalossal, though. They parting shot into Coalossal. Okay, that's a good play. That's a very good play. The question now is, can I knock out your Lapras? I'm pretty sure I should be able to, right? Also, I think there's one more turn of Vocalith here, right? So they take a little bit more chip. So as long as I hit a Heat Wave, we're good. Okay, you're not banded, Rillaboom. My only fear now is if you are... What's my fear? If you're Miracle Seed? Oh, Terrain's gone, though. Okay, that's huge, right? Because now then I definitely just go for Self-Aqua Jet Heat Wave. Oh, wait, Trick Room is still up. Oh, that actually makes this a little bit more interesting. Ah, the only thing is whether or not Earth Power KOs Lapras. We're at +2 special defense, though. Okay, if I double protect here, what's the downside? If Rillaboom switches out into Incin right now, because then you can fake out next turn. So I actually like Singing here, especially because Azumarill is not at much risk of taking damage. Sing Heat Wave works, I just don't want to miss a Heat Wave. Actually, Sing would have been better into Rillaboom here. They don't protect or switch. I do miss. Does Heat Wave KO here? Oh, it didn't KO. We gotta burn. Does Hydro one-shot us here is the other question. Okay, Coalossal hangs on with the Spadef boost. It's nice. But it's probably I would think my opponent doubled up into that slot. Wow, that was a roller coaster of emotions. It's probably better to just double protect, but I don't know. I think Rillaboom switching out there is actually a really good play. But Sapsipper Azumarill comes up huge here. My opponent did not double up into Cole, and Cole actually getting this max quick boosts allows us to survive, which is huge. So I think we should be good now. What's the safest? I feel like I should have a guaranteed win here. Aqua Jet's not going to KO Rillaboom. Plus, they still have Lapras, but I have Incin in the back. Or sorry, Rillaboom in the back. I just have to consider them getting into... Like, I want to protect Coalossal here, but it might be better to just attack. Aqua Jet. See, I don't like this because I could miss Heat Wave. Okay, they switch out, though. That's what I want to see. But still. I didn't want to protect Cold Air in case... Yeah. I think if I protect Cold Air, then you can just fake out next turn, and that's bad. They probably protect Lapras or hope for a miss here. Okay, they didn't protect, so I think they're banking off a miss here, which is definitely a valid win con. I was hoping to... I was thinking of Earth Power, and we do hit, which is huge, though. So we definitely got a little bit lucky in this game. Like, we dodged the Snarl, and... well, I guess we missed Sing, but still. They have Rillaboom now in the back, but now I can just Perish Song to win the game, I think, right? Let's see. You bring out Rillaboom. Actually, what I can do is just switch Azumarill into my Rillaboom, protect Coalossal. This is still not over. Like, I think it's very easy to potentially throw this game right now, so I want to be smart about how I approach it. My opponent knows I'm Sapsipper. See, the only downside of switching Azumarill into Rillaboom here and protecting is that my opponent actually Flare Blitzes Azumarill. Okay. What if I just Perish Song here? If I Perish Song, I have Rillaboom in the back and I Fake Out, could double protect. Is Azumarill the slowest Pokemon? I should have been keeping track of terrain a little bit better. Okay. I'm going to end up switching out into Rillaboom and protecting. I didn't protect yet, right? Yeah, but if my opponent Flare Blitzes the Azumarill slot, we could actually potentially lose. So let's see if they make that read, because this is actually a fairly obvious switch. But did I have a guaranteed win here? I think if Azumarill is slower than both of these, I did. Looks like... Ooh, I think they are Flare Blitzing. Is that enough for a one-shot? Okay, Rillaboom hangs on. But that was risky, because if I get crit there, I probably lose. Now I can just fake out Earth Power, and this game over. I think if Azumarill is the slowest Pokemon on the field, what I can do is just protect Perish Song. Especially based off how that turn played out, right? Then my opponent really is limited in their options, but now I can just fake out Rillaboom and Earth Power. It was just risky, because if Incin had more attack investment, and I just Feint for nothing there, I bring Azumarill back in, but then you probably... Well, then you Glide. Yeah, Azumarill doesn't do any damage, so I think my opponent actually probably wins off that. If Incin has Protect here as well, that could make this more interesting. But it doesn't look like it. Sword Power should knock out the Incineroar. Okay, nice. Okay, good. And now we win. I think Azumarill should have outsped both of my opponent's Pokemon. Sorry, it should have been the slowest Pokemon. So because of that, then it's actually safe to click Parasol in that position, especially because we walled the Rillaboom completely. So, I honestly think going for Parasol there may have been better. Parasol Protect with the Coalossal, and then Protect Azumarill, sack Coalossal, yeah, bring in Incin, sorry, bring in Rillaboom, fake out the Incin, and Protect. That was the guaranteed win there, I think, right? We've won this at this point, but I just want to double check that logic. This was a really close game, though. Like, we had to stall out their Dynamax. We got a little bit lucky, like I said, with the Snarl dodge. Like, I think we were actually still in a pretty fine position. I'm pretty happy about how I played this overall, because I thought Lapras was a really bad matchup. And I think if my opponent brought Clefairy, this would have been significantly tougher for us, because it's able to redirect the Aqua Jet and all the attacks away, and if you can protect the Lapras a little bit better, it's huge. Okay, so the win con I was thinking of that... The reason I was hesitant to click Parasol was because I was like, there is a scenario I foresee in which, like... oh, we can check their speeds as well here. Yeah, I think Azumarill's base 70, or sorry, 70 speed stat. It's not min speed, but yeah. We should underspeed, which means... Oh, this is interesting. It did have max lightning this entire time. That's why I was hesitant of clicking Sing. Tickle is really cool. Grassy Seed, as we saw. Glide. It was Grassy Surge with Rose Incense. Clef, which I think would have wrecked us if it came out, and Moltres, which, yeah, I don't think was very good into this matchup. Tickle's really cool. That's actually one of my favorite moves to use in VGC, so I guess you combo it with like your physical attackers, primarily Stack Attacka. Okay, so let's think about that endgame. My fear was that if Azumarill is actually faster than one of my opponent's Pokemon, which doesn't make any sense, right? Unless they are min speed on Incin, right? I think this Azumarill has no speed investments, so it's... I want to double check this because, once again, these Parasol endgames are so critical, and like if you can nail them, you have like a guaranteed win con. Yeah, Azumarill's base 50. Let's say you're min speed Azumarill. Sorry, min speed Incin. If you're min speed, oh, okay. So I didn't know this, but even if you're min speed Incin, Azumarill with the speed stat it has just outspeeds or underspeeds anyway. So the reason I'm talking about all this, by the way, if you're confused, is because the way a late game Perish Song game ends up is basically the Pokemon Feint in order of your speed. And if you're the last Pokemon to Feint, you'll actually win the match. So if you're the slowest Pokemon, like you want to be the slowest Pokemon, basically. So what I was nervous about was like, okay, if I click Perish Song and somehow my opponent's actually faster than me, or sorry, they're slower than me, then I'll actually lose the game potentially off my own Perish Song. In a scenario in which they're able to both effectively knock out Coalossal and the Rillaboom. But in the end, because Azumarill's base speed is so slow, like I said, what we could have done there was Azumarill was not at risk of taking any damage. Of course, my opponent could have gone for Fake Out that turn, but I think Parasol plus Protect is still a pretty good play. Okay, actually, let's think about this. If they Fake Out into the Azumarill, then the next turn, what do? Coalossal is just sitting wait, so then I click Parasol anyway. But they don't have any damage into Azumarill, right? Like, Rillaboom... Actually, what did Rillaboom have? Did they have anything? It had high horsepower? No, it didn't even have high horsepower. So, like, my opponent had no way to hit the Azumarill for damage in that late game. So, even if they went for Fake Out onto Azumarill and Glide, instead of the Flare. The Flare Blitz was a great prediction on their end. Like, I think they made some really good plays, but we got a little lucky in this match. I also am happy about how I stalled out the Lapras, like, don't get me wrong, but definitely could have played out a little bit differently. Yeah, had we not dodged the Snarl, for example. So, I'm just double-checking. If you Fake Out and you go for Fake Out Glide, I don't get the Parasong off, but that's fine. The next turn, I probably just go for a Parasong with the Azumarill and go for a double Protect with Coalossal. If we get the double Protect, I think we instantly win. Even if Coalossal does not get the double Protect, Azumarill gets the Parasong off. So then now there's 3 turns to stall out. Rillaboom comes in. And then with Rillaboom, I Fake Out the Incineroar. Probably go for a Sing with the Azumarill. 2 turns of Parasong left. Double Protect next turn. 1 turn of Parasong left. And I still have both Azumarill and Rillaboom out on the field, and you can't really knock out both in that position. So, yeah. Even without... Like, the main thing is I didn't know my opponent's full moveset on the Rillaboom or the Incin, so I was worried about that. But, like, your standard moves aren't going to do very much damage into the Azumarill there. So, Parasong would have been the correct move to go for there in that endgame. But, without knowing Incin speed... Now I know this, by the way. So, if you're curious, even if it's min speed Incin, Azumarill will be slower. So, if you're playing with these Azumarill endgames, like, you can use that knowledge. Because that definitely would have changed how I played that. But I wasn't 100% sure of that when we were actually in the game. So, yeah. Either way, those were a really, really fun set of games. This team is, I think, really, really high level. So, if you're trying it out, don't be too frustrated if you're not nailing it completely right from the start. Because I feel like I've definitely made a lot of mistakes. And we've been able to get a nice string of wins. But, I've played a couple of practice games with this team as well. And, like, in those games, like, I was messing up a lot. And it is definitely not exactly the easiest team to pilot, but it feels so good if you can win with it, because I think it's a really, really high skill team. So I'm not surprised that Santi, who is, legitimately one of the best Coalossal players in the world, was able to pilot this to number 1 on the ladder, because if you can execute it well, it is just so, so good. So yeah, definitely some, like, I feel pretty happy about those first 2 games. This one, a little bit not as great just because of me missing that end game. We're still able to win in the end, but once again, it's always better to just identify what you could have done better. That's how you really improve as a player. So I've been rambling enough at this point. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Thank you to Santi for the team. Once again, details for the team are linked in the description below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time. All right, peace.